As it can be.
All right. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conservatish episode 73 or 72. I don't know. There's too many now. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know why people keep listening and subscribing and following. And people are actually paying
People
for
love
it.
a train wreck.
This is.
Because people love a
Yes,
train wreck.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And you don't have to call me ma'am.
Okay. All right. What would you like to go by?
I go by Cat.
All right. Cat. Well, you can support this again at patreon.com/conservatish. Find me on Instagram at Peter_Feliciano because I guess I have to do that. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for coming down.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So where are you from?
That depends on what you mean by where am I from. Originally or recently?
Let's do both.
Originally, I'm from here, California.
Oh, really?
I was born in Victorville, California, in the middle of podunk fucking nowhere.
It really is.
Is it okay to swear?
Please.
Oh, well, yeah, I know it's okay to swear. I've heard your podcast.
Right.
Sorry.
Marysville, you said? Or
No, Victorville.
Victorville, okay.
I was born in Apple Valley, California, in the middle of the Mojave Desert, into a family of white racist rednecks.
Ah.
Yeah, my life has been lovely.
Okay. Do you remember what that was like?
Oh, hell yeah. That's why I'm still going to therapy.
Right.
Oh, yeah. My grandfather was a violent alcoholic.
Okay.
And he hated anything that was different from him.
Right.
He was sexually abusive to my mother.
Right.
You know, because my mother was a bastard child. She
Okay.
wasn't his.
Okay.
So he was fine with beating the crap out of her, raping her, whatever. You
Right.
know, I should have asked if there was anything taboo.
No, there's
Okay.
nothing taboo.
Because I'm, as Becca said, this is what is it again? I've forgotten the therapy word. Exposure therapy.
Yes.
Yeah, trying to get past things by facing them.
Well, you're doing great. And you have cupcakes, too.
Yeah, and
so
I have cupcakes, which is awesome. No, my grandfather was a violent, angry alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
He was a sexual abuser. He was a physical abuser. And my mom was stuck living with him until after I was maybe 2 to 3 years old.
Okay.
So for the first 2 to 3 years of my life, and, you know, it's bullshit when people tell you can't remember that young. Because I have very clear memories.
Okay. Do you want to share any of those memories?
Oh, yeah. My brother and I had an older brother. He was a year older than me. He was fully white.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't matter to my grandfather. My mom considered herself poor white trash.
Okay.
You know, that's just what she grew up with because she was abused from day one.
Right.
My brother and I don't remember why we were in bed because it was still daylight out, but all the adults were out in the living room, kitchen area.
Right.
And my brother, we had beds on the opposite sides of the room, and we were whispering back and forth to each other, you know, just being kids.
Right.
But my grandfather, he had ears like a fucking fox. I don't know. We could barely hear each other just across the room. He somehow managed to hear us talking. From the living room where the adults were.
Mm-hmm.
And he crept down the hall quietly. And then he kicked the door in, started screaming and yelling at us, and he grabbed me by the hair, and he tried to throw me across the room. Mind you, I was only 3 or 4.
Right.
My brother was 4 or 5. And he got royally pissed because instead of being able to throw me across the room, he ripped out a handful of my hair. And my brother, I guess, made a noise at that point, and it distracted him because he might have killed me at that point. But he let go of my hair, which just kind of puddled onto the floor, and turned around and started beating on my brother. And he told us to be silent and to just You know, children were to be seen and not heard, and mostly not seen.
Right.
That was kind of the first 3 to 4 years of my life. Not knowing what I had done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, only knowing that I had obviously done something very, very wrong because everybody hated me.
Right.
Everyone but my mom, one of my uncles, and one of my aunts. The rest of the family treated me like shit.
Right.
Violently like shit.
Right.
Well, my great-grandmother, that was the funniest thing. My great-grandmother, who also lived with the family, had no problems with the fact that I was half black. Her family had come across in covered wagons when she was a little girl. My mom told me that she remembered stories that my great-grandmother told of having a slave. You know, she was that old.
Right.
And my great-grandmother had a slave girl who would hold the umbrella and stand out in the rain with her so she could milk the cows.
Wow.
When she was a child.
Wow.
And that's just, but that was life. That was the way it was.
Right.
She had a slave child,
Right.
but they were friends.
Right.
She didn't seem to think any less of her. It's just what life was for her.
Sure.
Whereas my grandmother and my grandfather were like, why do you even exist?
Right.
So I remember my great-grandmother actually being kind to me. And I used to crawl up in her rocking chair when I was little, when I was upset, and just kind of cry and rock myself. And I would always wake up in my great-grandmother's lap. I should have warned people that this would probably be triggering.
Oh, no. I mean, this is... A lot of us have these experiences.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about at the beginning or before we started, I didn't have those experiences, but somehow I learned that I was bad as well.
Yeah.
Somehow I learned that I wasn't enough either. Somehow
Children
I
pick it
learned-
up. I mean,
It's so
in
weird.
everything that people do, even when they're unaware of it, children pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
They see it. They hear it. Even when it's not directed at them directly.
Right.
They catch it. And
Right.
even if they don't understand it, they can understand the tone of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all of this subtle programming from the very beginning that starts shaping who you are and who you will be as you grow up. Unless at some point in time, someone or something intervenes and helps you to realize that you don't have to be what everybody says you are. You don't have to be this insignificant little speck that's ugly or fat or slow or lazy or ignorant, just because you were born with darker skin or slanted eyes or, whatever the difference is.
And not just you don't have to be, but that you aren't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so weird. It's
Yeah.
I don't know why, 32 years old. I know I'm but I still it's news to me every time someone
Yeah.
like loves on me for free. It's like, wait, what?
I'm 50 years old and I'm starting to realize, 50. It took me, if I lived to be 100, it took me half of my fucking life
Right.
to figure this out.
Right.
I knew it and I've been fighting against it my whole life,
Sure.
but it's kind of hard to fight back,
Right.
When everything is abuse.
Right.
My mom never has gotten out of the cycle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I love her to pieces, but she never has and never will really get out of the cycle. And I've tried to help her my whole life. but
Does
she's
does-
still...
Does she still live in California? Or?
No, she lives in Washington. Or, no, sorry, Oregon. My brain just skipped a track. She lives in Oregon. But her and my stepdad. And my stepdad has had dementia since... for quite a few years, and he's kind of deteriorating pretty quickly now. But my mom has always let, because of the way she was brought up, she always let other people define who she was.
Right.
And I've tried my whole life to go, Mom, that's not who you have to be.
Right.
You don't have to kiss their ass to make them think better of you, because they won't.
Right.
They don't think better of you just because you kiss their ass.
Right.
You need to cut these people out of your life and let them go and stop believing what they tell you you are.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, she'd rather go to church and pray and hope that God will make it all better, you know.
Right.
And
does she still keep in contact with her father, or...
Oh, no, he's dead.
Okay, or with those people.
Yeah, because they're, quote, family.
Right. Quote.
Yeah.
Big on quote.
Yeah. One of her sisters, the one that I was originally named after, I changed my name before I got married because, truthfully, I had no reason to keep the name I was given.
Right.
And every reason to change it. But that aunt, when she found out that I had changed my name, she was offended. She was horribly offended. And she asked me why her name wasn't good enough for me. You know? And it's like, well, let's see. At the point when I changed my name, I was in my 20s. I've known you my entire life, and I've never once received a happy birthday from you. Not even a smile. The only thing I have ever received from you, other than being forced to bear your name, is a sense of condescending disapproval.
Right.
So why should I be happy to bear that name?
Right. Just in case you will like me or you will treat me well.
Yeah, and she never has.
Right.
I mean, she's got Alzheimer's now and probably won't remember me in another week, but, you
Sure.
know, fuck. It is what it is.
Do you feel like it was solely based on race, or was
yeah.
Okay.
Race and abuse, and the fact that she was raised in the same household.
Right.
You can see the dysfunction in all of my extended family.
Right.
I mean, it's very clear, from aunts to uncles to cousins, nieces and nephews, any of them that were raised in that area, in that environment. You can see it, even though some of them have broken away a little bit. There is still that I have to be this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got a cousin that we used to be good friends. She'll probably deny it now, but she was my first sexual experience too, before I even knew what sex was.
Right.
But because, I mean, that's what happens in an abusive family. If you're sexually abused, you tend to be sexually aggressive. It happens. I mean, you are too young to understand that that's not the proper behavior.
Right.
So it just, you know, you do what the others have shown you do.
Right.
So, you know, that is what it is. But I ran into her at, I think it was for my brother's memorial.
Your cousin? You ran into her?
Yeah, I ran into my cousin at, I think, my brother's memorial. And her entire attitude was, well, you know, this is my husband. Look how good I am doing. Look at, you know, it was she didn't say, hi, how are you doing? She didn't say, hey, it's good to see you. We should get together. We should catch up. It was, hi, hey, this is my husband. He does this. He works here. He makes this amount of money. And the thing is I could look at her husband and see just the pain and the shame in his eyes. Because it wasn't this is who he is. This is the man I love.
Yeah.
It was, this is all of his achievements.
Right.
You know, I'm doing so well because I've married this man.
Right.
And that was my cousin.
Right.
And it's like, seriously? You know, you're talking about him like he's an object.
Right.
He's a human being. He's a person. Pay attention to that. But that's my whole family.
Right.
I've got aunts that hit on my daughter, when they're drunk because they don't know any better, because they've been abused their whole lives.
Right. I think it's a human condition too. I find that, like I've talked about this on the podcast, but when sometimes I'm literally, especially the last few days, I can tell that I'm going to have a weird day if I wake up and immediately jump onto Facebook and Instagram for sometimes I'll an hour later, I'm still in bed whoa, what the fuck? Where did I go,
That is a sign of depression and anxiety.
Right.
That I've learned that intimately, because those are the days when I'm doing the worst.
Right.
I am a mental health sufferer. I
Right.
live with general anxiety disorder and clinical depression, to the point where, other than this event, my 50th birthday, I am damn near housebound. I don't leave my home. I don't go anywhere unless I absolutely have to. And I made this commitment to come here with you and talk about this stuff, to force myself out of that, to force myself to stand up and try to break out of this. Because nobody likes being where I'm at.
Right. And you don't like being where you're at.
No. And I'm honest enough to look at myself and go, I've been fighting my whole fucking life. Against all odds. Against everything. And I'm still not where I want to be. I'm still living in an RV in a tiny little podunk fucking town. Having to live off the handouts of family because my husband and I have anxiety disorder so bad we can't work, because we can't function in normal society. But because we can handle certain things, the government says we're not disabled. My husband drives. He has to. That's, for him, it literally is something he has to do because nobody else can drive us around. And when he went to his disability hearing, even though he had all of his evidence, all of his medical stuff, I mean, he had been stress vomiting 3 to 4 times a day, every day, for almost a year, to the point where he looked like a walking skeleton, and I was afraid he was going to starve himself to death because he simply couldn't eat.
Right.
But when he went to court for his disability hearing, even with all the evidence and with his psychiatrist's statements and his doctor's statements and his therapist's statements, they had a phone-in disability-appointed psychiatrist or psychotherapist who was listening to everything.
Right.
And she basically went through everything and went, well, can you drive? And he said, well, yeah, I have to. And she went, well, then you're a perfectly functional individual. You're not disabled. You can do all of this. She ignored absolutely everything.
Right.
And said, you can drive, therefore you're functional. The fact that he couldn't go into the grocery store without stress vomiting either before or after. And there were days that he couldn't even go into the grocery store. It would just get too much for him. He's walked out of grocery stores more often than not, leaving the full cart where it is,
Right.
because he just can't handle it. It just,
Right.
no, I can't. I've got to get out. I've got to escape. But he's fully functional because he can drive without wrecking the car or running people off the road.
Right.
And he can drive because he's hypervigilant, because he has PTSD.
Right.
And it's like, I was somebody who did a poetry slam that my husband and I really liked. She did it was called Anxiety Group, actually. I think you can still find it on YouTube. And it's this amazing poem about people with anxiety. But one of the lines of her poem was, my father says rich people can go to therapy, poor people got shit to do. And that's where it is. Mm-hmm. And people don't understand that. It's not that we're functional, it's that we're grinding our gears to try and appear as functional as possible just so we can survive.
Right.
I mean, I am absolutely fucking terrified every damn day of my life because people hate me and judge me purely on appearance or on preconceived notions.
Right.
And it's like, no, I'm just a fucking human being. Close your eyes and listen to my words. Can you tell what color my skin is?
Right.
Can you tell how intelligent or how stupid I am? Yeah. The moment you open your mouth, you can tell how stupid someone is.
That's why this podcast is doing well.
No, seriously. I've had absolutely racist people who niggers, they're so dumb, they can't do da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
That were friends of my brother, my older brother, because he's fully white, right. Or was fully white. He died in 2006. He took his own life. There were friends of his that would call on the phone when we were kids, and I would answer the phone, and they would ask for my brother, and I'd, talk to him for a bit, and my brother would come and he'd go, "Oh, dude, that was my sister you were talking to," and I could hear the incredulity. I can't pronounce the word now. Incredulity?
No idea. But I know what
they were incredulous at the fact that I was his sister because he'd always talked about his nigger sister.
Right.
My brother was brought up in the same environment as the rest of my family, so right. And because he wasn't black, right. I was the nigger sister.
Right.
I mean, his nickname for me was Tar Baby.
Right.
We were only a year apart.
Right. Were you guys ever congenial? Like, was there a good relationship there?
Oh yeah, we loved each other. We did.
So even though he continued that racist shit, like he still had love.
Yeah.
There was still love there between the two
if somebody else outside of the family flipped me shit, he'd beat the fuck out of him.
Right.
Because he could call me a nigger, and he could beat the crap out of me, but right. I was still his little sister.
Right.
It was nobody else could do that.
Right.
That was family only. Right.
Which is such a weird rule.
Yeah.
I don't know why we believe that.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is these friends that he, they were like, "No, that can't be your sister. You said your sister's a nigger."
Right.
And he's like, "No, that's my sister." And he's like, "No, your sister's not black then."
Right.
Because your sister's too intelligent. She's too clear spoken. She's too, all of this stuff, because they couldn't see the color of my skin. They heard my voice. And as Becca calls me, I'm the whitest black person she knows.
Yeah, I can see that.
Seriously. I am the blackest person by skin in my family.
Right.
But I'm the whitest person damn near everyone I know knows. Right.
Everyone else listens to, Insane Clown Posse or something.
Yeah, and I can't stand that shit.
I know. So now this is Victorville in the 70s? Is that
Victorville in the 60s.
60s, okay.
I was born in 69.
Okay.
So 60s and then 70s, so yeah.
Right. And
the end of the 60s, I should say.
Now the family or pieces of people within the family never got better. Did your surroundings? Did you eventually get out of there?
Yeah, my mother finally left when I was like 5. She moved out of her family's home and moved elsewhere. I think San Jose or Sunnyvale. Actually, I know we lived both in San Jose and Sunnyvale.
Okay.
But the problem was that my mother was already this person who'd been abused so much and thought so poorly of herself.
That it followed her.
Yeah. She was a prostitute.
Right.
She literally was forced into prostitution by my grandparents. she has told me throughout my life at times how they would constantly accuse her of whoring around. And that my grandmother flat out looked her in the face one day and went, well, if you're going to whore around, why don't you bring some money home for us? My mother had never been doing that.
Right.
But at that point, she was brought so low that she felt that was all she was good for.
Mm-hmm.
So she went from being this messed up, abused kid to being a prostitute.
Do you remember what age?
Oh God, she's 69 right now, and I'm 50, so that's 19 years older than me. So roughly 18, 19 years old. You know,
Right.
hell, one of the stories of my birth has to do with the fact that she had a black friend that I guess my mom was oblivious to the fact that my grandparents were so racist, because she brought him home one day to meet them. And she said that my grandfather was polite in a almost cold sort of way until the guy left.
Right.
And then he lit into her about niggers and her, being a whore for niggers and things like that. And I guess at that point they started accusing her of it constantly.
Right.
And she said she finally got fed up one time and snuck out and went to a party with this guy, got drunk and had sex with him. And then she called my grandparents and said, well, you've accused me of it for so long, I've finally gone and done it, and I hope I get pregnant. And the thing is that's one story of my conception. But
there are others.
There are others, because my mom has had so many mental health issues over the years because of her abuse.
Right.
And her low self-esteem and being a prostitute, pretty much because her parents forced her into it. That she's, at different times, she's fabricated things, and the stories have changed.
Right. And it doesn't seem through ill intention, just
no,
because
it's
that's
just,
that's just what happens.
Yeah. And it's a mental health issue, Right. I don't think my mom entirely remembers or knows what's real anymore. And, well, truthfully, my mom also has Alzheimer's, so she can't even remember what clearly. So there are things for the painful memories that she can't remember that she knows were painful. She refabricates new memories, because I know she's trying once again. She's tried throughout her life to write her memoirs.
Okay.
And she's trying again to write her memoirs, And she wanted to tell me about, a section of it. And she started talking about how her stepdad groomed her gently to be a prostitute. And I went, Mom, no, he didn't. He didn't gently do anything to you. He forcefully groomed you to be a prostitute.
Right.
And she went, no. And I went, yes, you've told me repeatedly stories of things he did. And there was nothing that was ever gentle about that man.
Now, that was the stepfather?
Yeah,
not
that
the
was
father?
that was my grandfather.
Oh, okay.
She was the bastard child, so,
Right. Okay.
He was technically her stepfather, even
Which
though
is-
on the birth certificate,
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
But, and I went, Mom, there was nothing gentle about him. And she paused, and I could see her going back, and she went, you might be right. Because I remember him coming in once and yanking me off the toilet while I was taking a shit and beating me with a 2x4. And I went, yeah, you've told me that story.
Right.
And that story has never changed. Out of all the stories she's told me about her life, some flip-flop, some change. That story she's told me repeatedly, because she never understood why he did it.
Right.
She didn't understand why he was angry. She didn't know why he came into the bathroom while she was taking a crap and literally yanked her off the toilet mid-turd.
Right.
She's dragging her down the hall as she's still crapping, and dragged her outside to beat the crap out of her with a piece of wood. yeah, that was my grandfather,
Right.
you know.
What year did he die?
Oh, sadly, I have memory issues too. I think I might be experiencing early onset Alzheimer's. I'm going to be getting tested for it when I get back. Um, it was a few years back, though. It was before my brother died.
90s, maybe?
Well, my brother died in 2006. So yeah, it had to be in the 90s. Yeah.
What was that funeral like?
My grandfather's? I don't know. I didn't attend.
Right.
Yeah.
As soon as when you guys moved to San Jose, did you ever talk to them again?
Yeah, sadly, they were family, you know.
Right.
I don't think we ever, well, truthfully, we never fully cut ties with the family. Even when my mom moved to Washington when I was little,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there was always connection, always commentary. But when she finally, quote, escaped the family with me was shortly after she thought she was going to die of cancer. She gave up. She had 4 children. She gave up all of us for adoption because she was told she had cervical cancer and she thought she was going to die.
Okay.
And
How old were you?
oh, I was 3, 4, maybe 5.
So that's about the time you guys moved.
Yeah, it was shortly after that. My mom, like I said, she gave us all up for adoption. I went to an aunt and uncle. My baby sister got adopted to a friend of my mother's. And my baby brother got adopted out to, well, let's see, he was a year old, so I had to be 4.
Okay.
Because we were stair-stepped. My brother was a year older than me. I was 2 years older than my sister, and then my sister was a year older than my baby brother.
Right.
And yeah, so I was 4 when that happened. She ran away to San Jose after that, but she was going through this thing where she thought she was going to die and all of that. She told me once that she actually walked out to the beach and filled her pockets with rocks because she thought, you know, it would be better
Mm-hmm.
than dying of cancer. She was just going to walk into the ocean and just but she wound up having a full hysterectomy and obviously did not die.
Right.
So she tried to get us all back. My grandparents had taken my older brother. My aunt and uncle gave me back. The adoption of my baby brother and my baby sister was already completed, and they were outside of the family, so she could not get them back.
Now, was there a point, I'm wondering, why would the courts, was this maybe just a product of the time, but the courts wouldn't try to maybe keep your older brother away from those people? Like,
Whoever got to the courts.
Ah.
My mother was so beat down
Okay.
that she believed my grandparents when they told her that they would take her to court and have her proven an unfit mother, and she would lose all of us anyway. She found out also that later on she never had cancer. My grandmother was tired of her having children and talked to the doctor and told the doctor to convince her that she had cancer so they could get her fixed. So she couldn't breed anymore. So, you know. But when she realized that she wasn't going to die and all of that, she got me back, and I was about the only one she could get back. And she'd had enough, and she jumped state. She moved to Washington with just me. And from 5 Well, actually, no, not Washington. She went to San Jose first and then Sunnyvale. Because I remember those two places. She moved from one to the other before she made the move to Washington. Sometimes it gets jumbled because I was so young.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember living in San Jose when I was 7. She lived with her best friend. And I know she was a prostitute still at that point. I didn't know, but I knew she had a lot of dates and a lot of boyfriends and things like that, you know.
In Washington as well?
Oh, I think she told me later when I got older, she told me that she didn't stop being a prostitute until she met my stepfather, who's been my stepfather since I was about 12 or 13.
Okay.
So that should give,
right,
you know, that timeline. But yeah, she moved to San Jose first and then Sunnyvale. And it was fairly quick succession. I realized as an adult that we didn't spend too long in either of those places. Because, you know, I know by 9 years old I was living in Washington. And then from 9 years old on, we bounced back and forth between Washington and Oregon.
Still continuing ties with the family.
Yeah, she wrote them or talked to them on the phone because she couldn't snip that thing.
Right.
That and, you know, we would occasionally visit my brother.
Right.
And when I was 11, she finally had enough and left me with someone that I no longer remember. And she went down to California when she knew my grandparents wouldn't be home, and she kidnapped my brother back. There was no legal custody of him to begin with. My grandparents had never had legal custody of him, so they couldn't really take her to court to get him back. But she kidnapped him back and brought him back with her to Washington. And then she had him from, you know, there until he moved out on his own. But the damage was already done. My brother was already a violent alcoholic and drug addict.
Right.
You know, at 12. You know. He hated me, but he loved me. He hated me because my grandparents had told him that my mother chose a little nigger baby over him.
Yep.
You know.
Right. It's interesting to know, like, to see how cruel and strange human beings can be.
Oh my God, yeah.
That fear, compounded over years especially,
It's just
creates
terror.
this incredible power. And I've got a story, but I can't really share it. Maybe I'll check with my family to make sure. But there's a there's some mental stuff in my family, and there's I won't share the story, but I've got some shit I could tell
I
you.
feel
you.
I totally feel you.
And I want to share, but
Yeah,
if it affects
yeah.
other people,
Yeah,
I'm an
no,
open book. But
that's
you know,
that's an honorable thing. Don't you know? I don't give a shit about the family that abused me, so they can go fuck themselves. I don't care what they think.
yeah.
So I don't care if they hear what I think of them. I'm
Right.
done. I'm
Right.
50 fucking years old.
Right. And just to let you know, they're not welcome on the podcast. So
Awesome. High five.
this is a one-sided conversation.
Yeah. Oh, hell, you could bring them on if you wanted to and go, hey, your niece says this about you.
Right,
What's
right.
your rebuttal?
Right.
You know, and they could, like I said, there's times when, you know, can you tell what my skin color is by listening to my voice? No, but you can tell how stupid or intelligent I am by listening to what I say. If you brought my relatives on, they would reveal themselves like that.
Right.
You know, it is what it is.
Right. What was Washington like when and was it worse racially when you were living up there
Oh, yeah.
than California?
Well, no, not worse than California. It was a little better than California. But you have to understand, I was growing up at the end of the 60s and the beginning of the 70s. It still was not okay for interracial couples. You were still looked down on if you
Right.
were interracial.
Right.
And my mom, at this point, was a single mother because the man that she had married when she was 3 months pregnant with me was a crazy and sexually abusive person, and he molested me and probably my brother too. And when I
Was that your father or was that someone
no,
else?
he
Okay.
was he claimed to be my father, even though he was not black in the slightest.
Right.
But he also claimed a lot of things.
Right.
He claimed to be a direct descendant of John Wilkes Booth. Yeah, he claimed to be a criminal mastermind. When I told my mom about him trying to teach me what lovemaking meant, he disappeared.
Right.
Because my mom, I didn't find out when I was little because, I didn't even know. I told my mom about him trying to teach me about lovemaking, and she freaked out, and, and he disappeared, and I never saw him again, which truthfully I'm grateful for.
Absolutely.
Found out that when she met my stepdad, my current stepdad, the one she married when I was 12 or 13. No, when I was 13. They got married when I was 13. When she had found out that my, quote, the man on my birth certificate had molested me, she basically went to him and said, if you don't leave, I am going to make certain you go to jail for what you're doing, and I will make certain that the other prisoners know what you did. And he left. He disappeared. Then when she married my stepfather, she tried to find him again so she could either divorce him or what have you, and she tried everything she could to find him and couldn't find him, to the point where the government declared him legally dead because he was MIA. They didn't know where he was. They couldn't
Right.
find him. They couldn't find any trace of him. And then he turned up again, back in California, back claiming my mother as his wife. After my mom and my stepdad had been married for, I think, 2 or 3 years, he just showed up one day at my grandparents' house and was like, where's Donna? Where's my wife? And apparently he said he'd been living in Australia training mercenaries. Yeah, the guy was not mentally stable in the slightest.
Good God! Why do these nut jobs ever? They never like. Well, I was working at 7-Eleven for a few years. Like they're never honest about.
Oh yeah, but the thing is the government couldn't find him. So where the
Right.
hell was he for?
Right.
12 years.
Right. What was your stepfather like?
My stepdad, I love my stepdad. He was a good old country boy. I mean, he did his absolute best to try and step in to the role of father for me and my brother.
Right.
And he made a lot of mistakes, but he was always honorable, and he's a good man. I love him dearly. He's stubborn as shit,
Right.
but he also wound up with severe brain damage when I was 16. Him and my mom were involved in a car accident that wasn't their fault. And they actually got the biggest payout from the state of Oregon ever.
Wow.
Because traffic was blocked by road work, and he got waved through an intersection even though the light was red, and an oncoming truck that could not see him because of the construction slammed into him and my mom. And if he'd been a smaller man, he'd have died instantly. As it was, he wound up with severe brain damage, a busted collarbone, a punctured lung, and was in the hospital for quite a while. And he went from a very intelligent man to not much better than a teenager mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And, it kind of kicked off dementia for him early.
Right.
And so my mom went from being his wife to being his caretaker.
Right.
So truthfully, I only had a few years of having a, quote, proper father figure.
Right.
But it was also at a point where I was already grown enough on my own to not really understand or even appreciate the fact that I had a, quote, father figure who was a decent
Mm-hmm.
man.
Mm-hmm.
I was raped when I was 11, when my mom was down getting my brother. I don't know who raped me. I can't remember. I just know that I was a virgin when she left and I wasn't when she came home. And I have a block of about the week that she was gone getting my brother that I cannot remember. So whoever she left me with took full advantage of that.
Does she know that?
No, she doesn't remember either. She has a guess of who it was because she's lost a lot of her memories, but she doesn't know for certain. And the man that she thinks it was actually wound up going to jail later on for molesting his own children. So it's possible. But she doesn't know for certain, and I don't know for certain. And truthfully, I didn't even realize that I had lost my virginity due to rape until I was an adult. Because, people were always talking about how you always remember your first. And it made me curious because I couldn't.
Right.
I couldn't remember my first, and I actually started trying to track my memory back. Because, I was a promiscuous child. I got pregnant at 13 because my only concept of love was sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to track, I was like, okay, I know who I've had sex with, but I know they weren't my first. So who was my first? Why can't I remember my first?
Right.
And then I got to the point where I was, mentally, I was like, okay, memory, okay, I'm 11. I'm not a virgin. I know that. Why? Okay, what happened at that point? And then I narrowed it down, and it was like, okay, that was the week my mom was gone to get my brother. Who was I with? And
Right.
I couldn't remember. And the only thing I could remember was prior to it, where I had absolutely no sexual concept at all.
Right.
I could remember the day she left, and I remembered that I was still innocent of these things when she left. And then the next memory I have after that is the day she came back, being excited that my mom was finally home, and being terrified of somebody standing behind me, and I don't know who it was. And as my therapist puts it, I'm very happy I don't have that memory. Because if it was bad enough for my brain to get rid of it, for me to
Right.
survive, I
Right.
don't want to relive it.
Right.
It's good enough for me to know that that's what happened. That is the most likely thing that happened. Because I know I was innocent. There's a block of time missing. And then I knew what sex was.
Right.
So, and I was 11. I was innocent.
Right.
I know there was no way in hell I was willing.
Right.
So, and that led to a lot of shit that went really in wrong directions.
Mm-hmm.
My only concept of love at that point was sex. Spread your legs for someone and they'll love you. Is it any wonder I got pregnant when I was 13? No.
Right.
That's what I'd been taught. Hell, that's what my mother had been taught.
Right. Was there any I know this is a romantic idea, but was there ever any justice for your grandfather?
Well, he died an alcoholic, if you consider that justice.
It's not painful enough for me.
Yeah, no, there never was. There never was. He was never taken to court for any of the abuse. Nothing was ever done till the day he died. He was a violent, racist abuser.
Right.
You know? And now that he's long gone, family have the attitude, the extended family have the attitude of none of it ever happened. You're making it up. None of this shit is real. Because, well, he's dead. Why drag his name through the mud now?
What about your grandmother?
She's dead too. She died before my grandfather.
Okay.
I remember that was the last time I saw my grandfather was at my grandmother's memorial. And it was like, he was this, I had always had this memory of him as being this towering, terrifying, angry, red-faced man. You know? And when I saw him at my grandmother's memorial, I was like, wow. Because he was this tiny, shriveled up little beat of a man who didn't know who I was. I was pretty sure of it. Or he was afraid of me. I couldn't tell whether he was afraid of me or didn't know who I was. Because he had this look of, why are you here? I don't know you. And it's like, you know, I actually greeted him as Grandpa, you know, and he never said a word to me. It was just always this, you know, and it was like, okay, whatever. I thought he'd come to peace with his racism when I was 14, because I received a letter from him when I was 14 apologizing for all the years he hated me. Yeah, he actually did. He sent me a letter when I was 14 that said that he was sorry for all of the years he had hated me, because he suddenly realized that it wasn't my fault that I was black, and that even though I was black, I was still his grandchild. And that was the only acknowledgement ever that I received of him even remotely accepting me as family.
Did you write him back?
No. I was shocked.
No mention of the abuse?
Oh, God, no. Of course not.
Right.
He was just sorry he hated me.
Which even in that wording doesn't sound like I was wrong. It
Yeah,
sounds
no.
like it's not your fault.
Yeah,
that
it's
you're
not your
bad.
fault that I hated you. Okay, whatever.
Fuck.
You know, at that point, I was doing my best. I was already a mom. I was trying to survive in my own situation. I was 14. I'd had my child a month before I turned 14. You know, and I was actually forced by my mother to keep my daughter. I don't regret that, but I had never intended to have children. I love my daughter, absolutely. I love my children dearly, but I was never meant to have children. I wasn't going to abort either of my kids when I got pregnant, but I told my mom before I ever got pregnant with Becca that I wanted to go on birth control. And my mom kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Because even though she knew I was sexually active, she didn't want to accept that I was sexually active. And for a lot of years, I blamed her for the fact that I got pregnant. You know, it took me a lot of years to realize that no, she didn't force me to spread my legs for somebody. That was me.
Right.
And I finally let that go. But I did. I blamed her for the longest time. But she forced me to keep Becca when I wanted to give her up for adoption, because I knew I was not a fit mother. I was 14 fucking years old. Of course I'm not going to be a fit mother.
Right. She's good people.
Becca? Oh, yeah. She's amazing.
She really is.
She really is. I did the best I could with her for the first 7 years of her life.
Right.
But the rest of that is all her.
Right.
You know?
But ultimately, I think it goes back to that idea. It's a little corny, but the idea of the breaking of the chain of shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
How the fact that it's very probable that your grandfather and your mother and you all grew up in this dog shit, all grew up in this abuse and this
hell
racism
yeah.
and whatever.
This horrible cycle.
But for some reason, you had the. I want to call it courage. It may be something else, but
when I
it
was
sounds
9,
like your grandfather did not have the balls
yeah.
to not continue it forward.
When I was 9, I was an avid reader because, well, I was a lonely child.
Right.
You know, the only things I knew were hate and despair. So I read, and I read, and I read. And because my mother was a single mother and a prostitute, she worked nights and slept days, and I pretty much raised myself, you know.
Right.
So, but I ran across this book. I don't remember the name of the book, but I ran across this story when I was about 9 that was a ghost story. But what it was deep down was actually about the cycles of abuse. It was about a child who wound up encountering a ghost of another child,
right,
who had died of child abuse. And the whole story was about breaking these cycles.
right.
And even though I was 9, that got through to me. I realized what was going on there. And I internalized that. And I went, oh, that's what's going on. We got to break the chains. And I scared the shit out of my mom when I was little because I was intelligent. I mean, beyond my years' intelligence.
Right.
I used to, like I said, I was an avid reader. I was fairly well educated to a certain degree. I loved to read, and I used to read books like 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea and things like that. And my mom was like, aren't those books too old for you? And I was like, no, they're awesome. They're awesome. You know, and I'd tell her all about it. And then I'd have to explain different words to her and what they meant.
Right.
Because I understood what the words meant, because my mind grasped that, okay, this word, even though it's huge, is paired with this word and this word. And in this context, this is what it means. And I got that.
Right.
You know, and I didn't realize that as a child I terrified my mother because of how much older than I was, where my understandings were.
Right.
As an adult, she told me once that she came in on a conversation between me, my uncle, and my uncle's best friend. And my uncle and his best friend were in their 20s, and I was still, 8, 9 years old. And she said that the three of us were having a conversation at the same level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my uncle and his friend weren't dumbing things down. You know, they weren't treating me like the child I was. They were treating me like an adult and actually holding an adult conversation with me. And that terrified my mom.
Right.
Because she didn't know how to deal with that. She didn't know how to let me be a child. Or help me be a child.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't fit in with the other children.
Right.
You know, I knew about life in ways that other kids my age should never have to.
Right.
I mean, I probably scarred one poor little Mexican boy for life when I was in preschool because he was a naughty little boy and wanted to show all the girls his thingy, as he put it.
Right.
And he had a hole in his pants, and he pulled his penis out through his pants, and he was uncircumcised. But I didn't know that at the time. And I looked at it and I went, that's not your thing. I know what your thing should look like. I've seen what a thing looks like. That's not it. And all the other girls who were with me laughed. And we all just laughed at him and wouldn't believe him that was his penis.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And we walked away. And I'm like, as an adult, I'm going, my God, that must have scarred that poor little boy for life.
Right.
Because here he was trying to be all, a man. And not only did showing off his thing not get him the attention he thought it would, it got him laughed at and ridiculed.
Right. I mean, you never know. It may have turned into a fun little fetish that he's enjoying right now.
Yeah, you never know. Well, that's true. You never know.
As long as it's consensual.
You never know where life may lead.
Right.
So,
what is your relationship with your other siblings?
well, my elder brother is dead.
Right.
As I said, he He wound up with cancer and he took his own life in 2006.
Right.
But we actually did get together and sit and talk. I spent some time with him before he killed himself. I didn't realize at the time that he was trying to say goodbye.
Right.
I mean, I still love my brother, even as fucked up as our relationship was. I still loved him. My baby sister and I were separated when she was 3 and I was 5. So, but before that, we had almost a twin bond. I mean, we literally could tell when the other was hurt, no matter where we were. I remember the last time as a child that something happened like that for us, and I was at a family barbecue. I wound up getting a scar on my back because I turned around and bumped into the barbecuer because I heard my little sister call my name. And I kept looking for her, and I couldn't find her, and I turned around and I bumped into the barbecuer, and it burned me. And when my mom was dealing with my wound and whatnot, she was like, well, you know, you need to stay away from that. And I went, where's Tina? You know, where's Tina? And my mom was like, she's not here. And I went, yes, she is. I heard her. She called me. And, you know, I refused to believe she wasn't there because I heard her clear as fucking day. But that's the way we were. We were so close, even though we were 2 years apart, you know. I was 5 and she was 3. Yeah. You know. But she was mine. She, out of all of my life, she was the only person I considered, quote, mine when we were little. And truthfully, I think it was kind of a bad thing. It was, even though I didn't understand that kind of a connection, it was bordering on obsession.
Right.
You know, she was my baby, even though I was like 5 years old. Tina was my baby. She was mine.
Right.
So, yeah, I didn't see her again between when she was 3 and then the last time I saw her, she was 12 years old. And we went back to California to visit family, and I don't remember why. And I actually got a chance to see her, and I expected that beautiful baby girl that I had remembered who was 3 years old, even though I, you know, logically knew that she was not still this beautiful little 3-year-old. And she didn't remember me at all. And I was like, oh man, we were so close when we were little. You know, and she was like, wow, we were? And I went, yeah, you know, I wanted that connection again, but it was gone.
Right. And that was the last time you talked to her?
Yeah, that was the last time I heard from her, last time I saw her. I didn't even know she was alive until last year when my youngest child was contacted by one of her children via Ancestry.com. It matched them as cousins, first cousins, which made her daughter realize she found some of her mother's family. So she got in contact, and yeah, we got in contact, and I found out that her kids lived with their father. They didn't have connection with her anymore because she was schizophrenic and a drug addict, and she'd pretty much ruined their lives.
Right.
And even knowing all of that, I told my niece, I said, I'd like to reach out to my sister. You know, if she's willing, I want to reconnect. Even knowing where she was at, I wanted to reconnect. But she never responded.
Right.
And I haven't seen my baby brother since he was a year old. Because apparently the people who adopted him, they were supposed to keep in contact, but they apparently did not want him to know he was adopted. And they didn't want him to know that he had a half-black relative, you know, sibling. So they skipped out when he was about a year and a half old and disappeared. And I've never seen him since. So, to the best of my knowledge, my baby brother doesn't know I exist. But I wasn't very close to him when he was a baby anyway. He was a little brat. He was. He would crawl up on the bed when we were taking a nap and bite me on the back. He was a little shit.
Right. It sounds like, even though it may have been partially for shit reasons, that maybe it might have hopefully been best for him to be separated from the rest of that
One would
family.
assume, but you
Right.
never know.
Right.
Becca thinks she actually found him a few years back. She tried to contact, she thought she'd found him. And she contacted a woman who was very nice, very polite and everything, until she found out that Becca was trying to reconnect with her uncle. And then the woman suddenly did a 180 and went, "You have the wrong number," and slammed the phone down. So, yeah.
Right. The older I'm getting, I just feel like I have no fucking patience for that shit anymore. Like, I understand like the effects of abuse, the effects of fear, the effects of alcoholism, the effects of, but at a certain point, I just feel like suck it the fuck up when it comes to like passing it on to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I understand that may, but like a piece of me just feels like, who the, I can't handle the, like, well, the rest of us are fucking handling it. The rest of us can suck it up.
Yeah.
There are people who have had way worse lives than I have, and are better people than I am. Who the fuck am I? You know what I mean? To just like, oh, it's because of this, and it's because, like, I have to sack up a little bit,
But people like to make excuses. Right. They like to make excuses why it's not their fault, why they're better than other people, even though they don't suck it up, and they justify their actions.
Right.
Because that's the only way they can do them, is by justifying them.
Right.
Because if they don't justify their actions, they're not worthwhile, they're not really human, they're not, this, they're not that.
Right.
If they can't justify their actions, then they have to face their actions.
Right.
And they're too fucking scared
Right.
to face their own actions.
And you are getting help. I am getting help.
Yeah.
A lot of people are. I mean, it's an amazing movement that's happened. Sometimes it gets a little fucking far.
Yeah.
But the therapy and whatever, or spirituality, whatever,
Yeah.
people are getting help.
Yeah.
And so we're not in the same place anymore.
Oh,
but
thank the gods for that.
But like, what in the fuck? Like, I don't understand why. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's the human condition.
Yeah.
I guess it's relatable for sure. I've had times where
people just want to feel like, their life isn't crap.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is everybody's life is crap to one degree or another.
Mm-hmm.
Look in a fucking mirror.
Right.
When something makes you angry without any rational reason for it, look in the mirror.
Right.
Because I've had so many people lash out at me for things that should not even affect them. And it's like, why are you so angry about this? What have I said or done to trigger you?
Right.
Why are you angry? I have always looked inward as to why I do things. And when I figure out what it is I do my best to break it. Because, I hate being where I'm at right now. I hate being the sad, broken, terrified individual. And I'm trying to make my life better. And when I realize that I have done things to other people like were done to me, because I've hurt people, and I know I have. Right. I know even a few years back, I hurt somebody. And at the time that I did it, I felt justified about doing it.
Right.
I felt, I put somebody in their place where they deserved to be because of surface assumptions.
Right.
And when I looked at that recently and I went, I didn't know her pain. I didn't know her life. And I tore her down in front of her very young child. And that will scar her, not only her, but her child. And I did that. And at the time that I did it, I felt justified. I felt righteous.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
Right.
You know? What the fuck is wrong with me? It doesn't matter that I was abused. That doesn't give me the right to lash out and hurt somebody else.
Right. Have you had a chance to clean that up?
No, sadly, it was years ago, and she was somebody living in the same apartment complex I was living in, and it was a one-time encounter.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, damage is done. You cannot fix a plate that's been broken. You know, all you can do is try to repair it and maybe make it look a little better than it was before it was broken.
Right.
I used to have the Nordic belief of, you know, once a plate is broken, it's broken. There's no going back. And then my husband actually introduced me to a Japanese concept, which was when you break a plate, i.e., when you've done something like that, there is a way to make amends.
Mm-hmm.
You can't change what was done,
Mm-hmm.
but you can take that plate and you can fill those cracks and you can put that plate back together with gold.
Mm-hmm.
And the gold is there to help show that, yes, this is broken, this is flawed, but it's still beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And the effort that you have put into putting it back together is beautiful.
Right.
So it doesn't change the fact that the plate was broken. It doesn't change that at all. It just goes, okay, I accept what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
I broke this plate. Now I'm going to do my best to rebuild it
Mm-hmm.
and make it into something beautiful again.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I can't fix the plate that was damaged, all I can do is acknowledge what I've done and go, okay, don't do it again. And if you find someone else that you have done that to, reach out. They might slap your hand away, but reach out. Talk to them. Apologize to them. And I mean sincerely fucking apologize.
Right.
You know? Look at yourself in the mirror. Nobody's life is more important than anybody else's life. It really isn't. We do not have the right to shit all over everybody else just because we've been shit on.
Right.
It doesn't make anything better.
Right.
All it does is perpetuate the bullshit and make things worse. And that's why we're in the state we're in, where the world is based on greed and hatred. And, you know, and I've gotten shit from black people as much as I get shit from white people. Because, you know, I don't put up with the racist bullshit. I don't put up with black people who drop the race card at the drop of a hat.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't put up with white people who drop the race card at the drop of a hat. Or anyone else who does.
Right.
Because it's bullshit.
Right.
I mean, when I was still capable of working, I used to work for an insurance company. And there was a black lady there. Nice lady. But when I first came into the insurance company as a new employee, she warned me that the company was racist.
Yeah.
She told me it was racist, and she was currently suing the company for discrimination.
Okay.
And I got to know her, and I got to know the people she was telling me were racist. They were nice. They were awesome people.
Right.
And as I got to know her, she was a very intelligent woman. She'd been in politics and other things and was very intelligent. But she used a lot of heavy slang.
Mm-hmm.
And as one of my mom's old friends used to call it, she was very country.
Okay.
Or to use the proper term, she was very country. You know, she was very country.
Right.
I had to tell her on a number of occasions, don't hit me. Because she had this habit of, when she wanted to emphasize what she was saying, she'd smack you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been hit my whole life.
Right.
And I repeatedly told her, don't hit me. Right. And she'd turn around and smack me and turn around and, you know, hey, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I'm like, don't fucking hit me.
Right.
And all of the people she claimed were racist, you know, they treated me fine.
Right.
And it wasn't because they were afraid to misstep.
Right.
They were genuinely nice people. It wasn't that they were racist. They just didn't fucking like her. And I could see why. Yeah, she was intelligent, but she didn't sound like it. Well, she didn't act like it.
And intelligence doesn't necessarily spell emotional intelligence.
Yeah, and that was the thing.
A big one.
And instead of seeing it for what it was, she viewed it as racism because they didn't treat her with the respect that she felt she deserved. And it's like, no, they don't treat you with the respect you feel you deserve because you don't deserve it.
Right.
You know, and it just, I've met people like that, you know, on all sides, and it amazes me. And I've had other black people, you know, start to say something when I call people out on that shit. I was in a conversation with some white coworkers at one point in another insurance company. Mm-hmm. And I guess it was about the time that the whole black slavery reparation was coming up.
Right.
You know,
it comes up every couple of years.
Yeah. And I actually, I guess I said it loud enough for it to carry because I've got a voice that carries when I'm not working at it.
Right.
And I went, that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard in my life.
Right.
Why should people who had nothing to do with it be forced to pay other people who never experienced it for something that happened way the fuck back in the past?
Right.
Seriously. This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Right.
And this other black lady, I could hear her before she ever got to our cubicle. Stomp, 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 stomp. She was coming down to read somebody the fucking riot act.
Right.
She turned the corner and she realized I was the one who said it.
Right.
And her whole face went. And she turned around and walked away without saying a word. Because she realized she was going to drop the race card and go, you racist motherfucker. But because I'm black, and I said it was the dumbest fucking thing I'd ever heard, and gave my reasons why, she suddenly couldn't say a damn thing.
Which is why, I mean, I'm a mixed race man as well. And that's why the logic, because I was having a conversation with my mom before I started this, and she kind of gave me a good piece of advice. She was like, don't lean on your identity to defend your ideas. But it's so hard sometimes because when people want to get, oh, you're not allowed to say that word, or you're not allowed to, you don't understand. And I'm just like,
that's so much bullshit.
Hang on a second. Because it's so much easier to just go, I know a lot of gay people. I'm allowed to say, or I know, or I'm half.
Then you get the people who do that. Oh, you can't. You're still racist, or you're still sexist, or you're still whatever.
Right.
Just because you're using that term that I've got a lot of friends who are doesn't mean you're not.
Right. It's actually, I got to tell you, it makes the whole idea that I have a black friend is not a good defense against the moniker of racism is a stupid fucking idea. Because I am literally showing you that I see individuals who have that characteristic as not pieces of shit. Not only do I see them as human, but I have value and they add value to my life and vice versa.
But the justification for that is, I've had that conversation with people.
Right.
But their justification for this is, well, those people aren't black enough.
Right.
I've actually gotten that.
Right.
I've been accused at times in my life of trying to act white.
Right. Simply
for being who I am.
Right.
Because I use proper English. I was properly fucking educated. I was taught to read and write before I went to school.
Right.
And I knew my alphabet. I knew all of that before I went to school because it was important to my mom and her boyfriend at the time that I be intelligent, that I know this shit.
Right.
So I learned. I learned quickly.
Right.
I listened. I paid attention. I love learning.
Mm-hmm.
If I could, I'd be a perpetual fucking student, just picking up classes here and there because I love learning.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that I wasn't ignorant, and that I spoke with clear English meant that I was trying to be a white person.
Right.
And it's like, okay, so what you're basically saying is that, and this was coming from black people.
Right.
What you're basically saying is that because I don't sound ignorant, I'm not black. I'm not black enough.
Right.
I mean, the woman who was stating that the company that we worked for was racist actually said that to me at one point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because she was talking about something, and I went, I don't get it. I don't understand that. And she just went, that's because you're not black enough.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck does you're being just as racist as you're accusing these people of being.
Right.
And you don't see it.
Right.
You know, and it's like, what the fuck, people?
Right.
You don't have to. Race is nothing but a skin color.
Right.
We are all fucking human beings.
Right. Yeah, I was just talking with the guy on the last episode, DJ Kevy Kev, and how he posited the idea that it's just a social construct. I think it's more than just a social construct. Maybe it has more to do with culture. But you know, as an example, you know, Patrice O'Neal, my favorite comedian, I talk about him almost every fucking episode, used to talk about how Africans in America, like not African Americans, Africans who have migrated to America,
you know, from Nigeria and other places,
don't like black people.
Oh,
they don't like black Americans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're not real enough, or they're stupid, or they're ignorant, or you know, they're
there's
not
a
ungrateful.
lot of fucking ignorance.
Yeah, and so because this is such a complicated, nuanced issue, and people want to like I think it goes back to our earlier subject of the victimhood, and when you carry that shit forward. It's so easy to do it that it's intellectually dishonest. Mm-hmm. It's lazy intellectually, and so that's why I stick out like a sore thumb. That's part of what I love about this podcast is. And by the way, the only people who have given me shit for being racist or having whatever are fucking white people.
Yeah, that's the thing that confuses the fuck out of me all the fucking time.
Right?
Is I guess there's a term for it now called woke. The woke people.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? My husband had to look it up.
Right.
Because we heard the term, and it was like, what does woke mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, I'm black. I've lived racism my whole life, and I mean lived it.
Right.
You have never come even a smidge close to what I've experienced.
Right.
Racially.
Right.
And yet you're offended, but I'm not? What the fuck is wrong with that?
Right.
You know, it's like when when I met my husband, he's the only man I've ever met in my life who didn't see my race. And I mean literally did not see my race. Mm-hmm. I actually have a funny story about that.
Lay it on me.
Yeah. We were actually on our way to Thanksgiving dinner at his mother's house. This was to be the first time I was going to meet his mother's side of the family. Mm-hmm. And I was nervous, we're halfway there. And I went, oh, you have told your mom I'm black, right? And he paused and he looked at me and he went, oh, I guess you are. He never saw my race, ever.
Right.
He still doesn't.
Has it gotten easier?
Yeah, it has. With more people in becoming interracial,
right?
It has gotten easier. I mean, I still get shit from both sides.
Okay.
There are still black people who look at me like I'm a traitor because I'm married to somebody who's not black.
Right.
But the thing is I tried at one point to get to know the black side of my heritage. Mm-hmm. I reached out to the black community. Mm-hmm. And I was treated with such disrespect and such ignorance that I went, okay. Like that lady who was suing the company. It's not that people are fucking racist against you. It's that you're a fucking ignorant asshole.
Right.
And you keep perpetuating it.
Right.
You if you're male, you have this almost obligation to treat women like they're beneath you. Right. And as possessions. And, oh, that's my bitch.
Right.
No, I do not belong to you. I am not your property.
Right.
I am a human being. Right. It doesn't matter that my gender is female. Right. It wouldn't matter if my gender were male.
And a great example of that.
I am not your bitch.
A great example of that is, I mean, it's a little bit of a fucking controversial issue, but then again, this is this podcast. But a great example of that is the fatherhood.
Oh,
is the black fatherhood going down and down and down, and that continuation of that cycle. Again,
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't
truthfully.
have pity for fathers who, well, I learned because my dad left. It's not my fault that I left. No, because there are a lot. I mean, Larry Elder is one of the great examples of fucking
that
like
is
he's
so
a bit
much bullshit.
Right.
After a certain point, you have to be responsible for your own actions.
Right.
You have to go, okay, yeah, my father walked out on me. He was an abusive bastard.
Right.
I've got kids. I should step up and be there for them where my father wasn't.
Right.
And if you don't want to do that, don't have kids.
I think it's the white liberalism lowering the standard for it's white racism, to tell you the truth, for the white liberals to lower the standards for them because, well, they don't know any better. They're black. They don't need to grow up.
I hate
they don't
that
need
bullshit.
to grow up or
Everybody
not continue the
God,
they can't help but
that's a pet
continue
peeve.
the pattern.
Oh God, that pisses me off.
Liberals are racist. Yay.
When people say shit like that, I am not a liberal and I'm not a conservative.
Exactly.
I am a fucking human being.
Right.
I have my own opinions.
Right.
I have my own beliefs.
Right.
I don't give a fuck what political club you belong to.
Right.
I don't give a shit.
Right.
They're all the same in my boat.
Right.
You know, they're just rich people trying to get richer off the backs of the poor. That's my viewpoint of politicians.
Right.
I have met very few politicians who I can say were not simply trying to get better off of the backs of others.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fuck you. Prove me wrong. I would be happy to eat crow.
Right.
You know, if you're not out there just trying to make a fucking buck off of people, prove me wrong.
Right.
You know, instead of it coming out that you're off fucking prostitutes on your wife's couch, you know, while she's off on vacation, fucking the dog, you know.
Right.
I don't care. It's all bullshit.
Right.
Politics is just a way for people to keep other people under control.
Right.
That's all it is.
Right.
You know, I guess I'm in a way I'm kind of a fan of organized chaos.
Sure.
You know, having certain rules and regulations I get to keep polite society polite.
Mm-hmm.
But society as it currently stands is not helping anyone.
Right.
The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And the rich don't seem to realize that if they keep putting the poor down and trying to wipe the poor out, that the next step up will be the poor. The next step above the poor will be the poor.
Right.
And it'll just keep going like that until it gets to them.
And a piece of it is, too, that when you're not that I don't feel necessarily that we should make a cap, like a strong cap on capitalism, but at a certain point, the corporation, like, you know, Republicans were worried about, like, oh, we're going to, the government is going to, if we give the government too much power, they become a bloated machine.
Yeah,
the same thing can
truthfully,
happen for corporations.
Yeah,
That,
exactly.
you know, it's like, you know, they're always,
The Incorporated States of America.
right. It's
currently
either
where
way,
we're living, you know?
which is why I really like it when, and it happens more on the libertarian side or the conservative side, when the focus on how to make us better as a people or us better as a society is on the individual basis. That's why it is helpful for, on the focus on religion or spirituality, that's the connection you have with an individual or a smaller group, and you help each other. It's not this big daddy government is going to come help me. We just need to give the government more power.
Yeah,
because big daddy government will do it for me. No, it's not going to happen.
Go watch V for fucking Vendetta. There's a story there. You know,
I kind of look like I have that facial hair almost.
when you let the government control you because you're so afraid of what will happen if they're not in control.
Right.
That's when you become what you're terrified of.
Right.
You become a slave.
Right.
You become this person ruled by fear.
Right.
Because you're so afraid that, well, the government will black bag you or whatever.
Well, it's Russia. It's Russia and the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
We don't like these rich motherfuckers, and they're taking all our money. So we're gonna put all of our power into the government's hands, and the government will sort out these rich motherfuckers. So what they did to sort out the rich motherfuckers was fucking kill all of them or starve everyone in the goddamn country and put them in gulags, and then eventually now there's nothing but government.
Yeah.
Now even
and the
a whisper
government are the rich motherfuckers.
Right, and if there's even a whisper of someone being a rebel,
They're killed.
They're
or they
killed, or they're
disappear, or whatever.
exactly. It's some fucking. Let's not give the government this much power.
Yeah,
Bernie.
I've actually voted for Bernie.
Yeah, no, I did too. I did too in the primary of 2016.
When I was still voting. I know I'll probably catch a lot of hell for the statement that I haven't voted in a lot of years.
Oh, okay.
And I'm kind of George Carlin's viewpoint on voting at this point is I'm one of the few people who has the fucking right to bitch. Right. Because I didn't put that son of a bitch in office. Sure. And every time I've tried to vote, I've had it proven to me that my vote doesn't count. Mm-hmm. Hell, I was living in Washington at the time, and we voted. The state of Washington voted. Oh no, I'm good. Okay. The state of Washington voted against the Superdome that they built, the Kingdome.
Right.
We voted it down. The state of Washington voted it down.
It was only in Seattle, right?
Yeah. Okay. But sorry, I'm using the wrong terms. I do that when I get whatever. But we all voted it down. Everybody did. It did not pass. The bill to build it did not pass.
Okay.
And the local government basically went, fuck it, we're building it anyway, and you're going to pay higher taxes. And they built it anyway, and we started paying higher taxes.
Right. Because what the fuck are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right.
Even though we had voted, no, we don't need it. We don't want to pay these higher taxes. Mm-hmm. They went, fuck you, we're going to do it anyway.
I think it better in the same way of, the Bay Bridge toll or the Golden Gate Bridge is a perfect example. The toll goes up. All of us go, oh, that sucks. This is unfair. Well, what are you going to fucking do? Stop going to Marin? You have to drive to work every fucking day. Yeah. And not only that, we're going to take all of the people out. So you can't even pay cash. You have to get a fast track or we'll send you the motherfucking bill.
Yep.
If you don't pay the fucking bill. Now, don't get me wrong. Taxes are important, but we have to have roads and cops. It's all of it, But sometimes it gets so fucking bloated. Now you take the human element out of it.
Yeah.
Now it's fucking creepy.
And that pisses me off to no end. It's not that I'm afraid of robots or AIs taking over the world. Fuck it.
Right.
Truthfully, I for one would welcome our new AI overlords. Whatever. No, seriously. Robots wouldn't be going, fuck you for a percentage. It's kind of like the what was it? The Matrix viewpoint of how...
Well, there wouldn't be an ego to
exactly.
To fix.
They would go, okay, this is logical, this isn't. You treat these people good, they're going to do this. You treat these people bad, they're going to do this. Okay, A to B. Right, we'll do it this way so that we have what we got going, and it works.
Right.
There's no ego. There's no, I need to get richer and richer and richer.
Unless the artificial intelligence is designed to grow.
Yeah, well, again, we still can't guarantee it would grow in the ways that we as humans did.
Yeah. Right.
We have this ego that we project on everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Each other, to animals, to robots, to artificial intelligence. Right. And it's like, well, this is how I would react.
Right.
Therefore, this is how everyone will react.
Right.
And at that point, we have to take a step back and go, no, just because this is how I react doesn't mean that that's how somebody else will react.
Right.
That's where I have issues. I have issues because I'm too kind. I will be brutally honest with people, but I won't be rudely honest.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wants an honest opinion from me, I will give it. Hey, does this dress make me look fat? Actually, it does. It makes you, it's unflattering. It does this. I will give an honest opinion. I won't go, Hell, bitch, it ain't the dress that makes you look fat. It's the fat that makes you look fat.
Right.
There's a difference between being honest and being rude.
Right.
I will be honest with people.
Right.
Because I hate bullshit. I hate being lied to.
Mm-hmm.
I've had enough of it in my life. I don't want it anymore. So if you ask me for my opinion, be prepared. I'm going to give you my fucking opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I will state up front, it is my opinion. It is not the world's opinion. It is not my neighbor's opinion. It is not everyone's opinion. It is simply my opinion. You can take it or leave it.
Right.
You're just as free to ignore my opinion as I am to have my opinion.
Right.
And that's something people don't seem to get.
Right.
Is this personal freedom. You know, they feel if somebody disagrees with them, they have to make them agree with them.
Right.
And it's like, no, you do not have to agree with me on anything.
Right. We all have a vote, and all votes are important. Now, sometimes if you really feel strongly enough, you can try to create a march or a sign or a podcast or a whatever to try to sway people, and that's fine, but you cannot literally shut down the speech of other people, or literally shut down the vote, or shut down the social media feed, or the whatever. Like, you can't fucking do that shit.
I have met so many people who shout about free speech and all of that, but they don't want to hear somebody else's free speech. Right. You know, it's like they shouldn't be allowed to speak here. They shouldn't be allowed to do this here.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute, weren't you the one just 5 minutes ago bitching about the fact that you can't do this here?
Right.
What makes you better than them?
I'm an extremist when it comes to that, like where KKK is a good example of that. I don't agree with what those cocksuckers think, but who the fuck? Like, if I stop them,
I am not going to deny their right.
That's what I'm
to free assemblage, to peaceful assemblage. I am not going to deny their right.
And there's like 5 of them.
You know,
why are we scared of these fucking faggots and goddamn, like, you know, khakis and shit?
Hey, now, they're not faggots. They're not faggots.
Not in
Faggot
the good
is
way.
not a derogatory term. Don't use it as a derogatory term. No, bullshit. You can use whatever you use. You know, I won't, because truthfully, no. I'm more respectful than that to a lot of people. Right. And I'm not saying, I'm not purposely saying that you're not.
Right, the context of faggot there meant these little fucking pansies.
Yeah.
I love many good little cocksuckers.
Yeah, I know. You know? I've heard your stories. I've listened to your podcast. I know a few of them have even sucked your cock. You know, I know this. You know, so no, I get it. No, I for one definitely disagree with the KKK.
Right.
I mean, I've lived racism my whole life. If it were up to them, I wouldn't be alive.
Right.
I get that. But I'm not going to say that they can't assemble and that they should not be allowed free speech.
Right.
Because if I say that, then why the fuck should I be allowed it? Right. If I believe in free speech, then I have to uphold their right to free speech as much as I uphold mine.
A principle is a principle is a principle.
Yeah.
You cannot change the principle. It's
cherry picking the bullshit.
Because what we believe to be offensive 50, 70, 100 years ago was not offensive.
No, it was just life.
Right.
That's why it bugs the crap out of me, this bullshit whitewashing of old movies and old shows and things.
Right.
You know, what the hell was it? Uncle Tom's Cabin that was banned in the U.S. and all that.
Really?
I think it was. No, it wasn't that. It was Song of the South.
Oh, the Disney movie. Yeah.
It was banned. I loved that movie.
Right.
Yeah, I'm half black. Fuck you. What the fuck's wrong with it? Yeah. So what? It was racist. It was a sign of the fucking times.
Right.
It happened.
Right.
If we pretend this shit didn't happen, it will happen again.
Right.
It is only when we acknowledge the shit and go, yes, this is how it used to be.
Right.
It no longer is.
Right.
I mean, there's a big difference between casual racism and purposeful racism.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of people out there who don't understand the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've had people, I can deal easily with casual racists.
Right.
You know, sometimes I'll poke them and, you know, point out their casual racism.
Right. or like Patrice used to say, there's a different racial.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty racial. You know what I mean? Like I may kvetch about the way some Chinese people drive, but I don't think they should have their fucking licenses taken away.
Yeah.
But
no,
am I
no
allowed
more
to
so
just?
than anyone else?
Am I allowed to just complain? Can we at least acknowledge that this happens?
Yeah,
You know what
exactly. I mean? The thing is complaining is fine. We are so fucking overboard on the PC bullshit that it drives me insane.
Right.
And this is coming from somebody who's technically insane, you know. You know.
Right.
I mean, I recently got my mental evaluation.
Oh joy.
Well, I'm finally. Oh, this is a trigger for me. I am finally giving in and applying for disability because I cannot work.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it. But I've already been denied, and not because I wasn't medically disabled. I was denied on a technicality. But that's what disability does. They deny you, and then you have to get a lawyer, and then you have to fight, and you have to go through several years of fighting to prove that you're fucking disabled.
Right.
And the thing is the reason that most people don't is because they can't. And that's what the government counts on. They know that those people who are truly mentally and emotionally disabled are either going to give up because they just don't have the strength to fight, or they're going to kill themselves. So either way, problem solved. You know? And I've seen this. It's what my husband's been going through for the last 2.5 years. He is so frail. He has been suicidal since he was 16.
Mm-hmm.
He was not planning on living past 30.
Mm-hmm.
And then he met me.
Mm-hmm.
And his whole world changed because he and I were literally a love at first sight.
Mm-hmm.
We've been together for damn near 30 years now.
Mm-hmm.
From the first day we met, except for one period of a month at the beginning of our relationship, because he got scared because of how fast it was going.
Right.
And we split up for a month. We actually dated other people.
Right.
And by the end of that month, we had maneuvered the people we were dating together and got back together. And we've been together ever since.
Nice.
But I've seen what he's struggled through and what he's gone through. And he has done more mental damage to himself.
Right.
Because he doesn't have the strength to fight. So instead, he just drops his head and does his best to bull through it. And it does more damage to him than good. And I've seen him collapsed and shaking on the floor, unable to move. I've seen him have to pull off the road and stress vomit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen intimately what he's gone through. Mm-hmm. He sleeps in a closet because he doesn't feel safe enough to sleep in the bed with me.
Right.
We had to pad. We had to take one of those foam pool noodles and cut it and pad the closet jamb, the door jamb in the closet, so he wouldn't bang his head on it when he sleeps, because he has nightmares nightly. And he thrashes in his sleep and he bangs his head on it constantly.
Right.
And, you know, he stands 6 foot tall and he barely fits in this little bitty closet that is just barely wide enough for him to stretch out in. You know, it's only a few inches on either side of him, and it's barely long enough to fit his 6 foot frame. And he contorts himself to crawl into this thing every fucking night because he doesn't feel safe enough to sleep in the bed. Mm-hmm. But because his whole life he's been treated that if you're a man, you have to be strong. You have to take care of everything. He's had the weight of the world put on his shoulders, and then he's been beaten to the ground with it. You know? And there's almost no room for him as much as there's no room for me at times in the world. Because he is the epitome, viewpoint-wise, of so many people of privilege. He's a white male. He has privilege. simply on the fact that he was born a white male. But I've seen him discriminated against just as often as I have been from both sides. People prejudge, they make assumptions. I can't tell you the amount of times that people have asked me within his hearing if he's ever abused me. Because it's the assumption that because he's a 6-foot male and I'm this damaged semi-mousy female at times. I say semi-mousy because I get fired up.
I know.
But, because I'm this damaged, frail, mousy woman who cries at the drop of a hat, that he's got to be the reason for it. Right. It's the automatic assumption. Right. And that tears him apart because he'd sooner kill himself than ever hurt me or hurt a woman or hurt a child. Right. And he's gotten to the point where he just, his head goes down and he's terrified of ever encountering somebody actively abusing a woman or a child. Because, as he puts it, that person would become therapy and he would beat them to death. Right. All of that rage that he has of being put in that box would come out on that person abusing somebody. Right. And he's terrified of it because he knows there's no if, and, or but in his mind that if he ran across somebody doing that's what he would do. He would kill them. Right. There would be no conscious thought. It would just happen. Right. And it's because everybody prejudges. And it's, you're the problem. You're the reason that I am down. Is because you, with your privilege, you, white male, are the reason. And that's bullshit. Right. And we need to stop looking at each other like we're colors. We're not colors. We're people. Close your fucking eyes and listen to the people around you. Listen. If you close your eyes in a crowd, can you pick out what race people are? You can't. Not always. Yeah, you might be able to, because of accents. Right. But I have seen enough white people who talk slang more comfortably and more naturally than I ever could in my life. Right. Who I would think were black, quote, if I was just hearing them that aren't black. Right. So no, it's not a race. It's not a race thing. It's an environment thing. People need to stop looking at other people for our differences and realize we're all fucking human beings. Every life matters. I get the whole point of, Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. I get that. That the whole point of, saying Black Lives Matter is you're drawing attention to that.
Cops stuff,
and how people say, well, when somebody goes, all lives matter, you're taking away from that. I get that. I understand what they mean. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they miss a point. Because, all lives do matter. Right. Yes, Black lives matter. So do white lives. So do yellow lives. So do red lives. Right. So do brown lives. So do, whatever fucking color you are. Right. It shouldn't make any difference. Right. Close your eyes and just listen to people. Right. Stop trying to pick people apart and knock them down and make them below you off of assumptions. Right. Because you can't read their minds. You don't know the life they've lived. You don't know the bullshit they've gone through. You don't know anything other than what you can see on the surface. Right. And even when you live with someone, you can't always see. Because my husband, before he was mentally and emotionally broken, he used to have the same sort of assumptions about me because I got broken first. I mean, I had fought my whole life. I'm still fighting, but the first time I wound up leaving work due to mental health issues. I tried to get a job, but I didn't realize that the situation at that point was that I was emotionally broken.
Right.
And neither did he.
Right.
And I was dealing with heavy depression and anxiety. And when I tried to go for job interviews, the anxiety would show. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't get the job because the employer would see that I was negative, right. You know, and all of this. And I think the last interview I went on during that time, the entire interview, the interviewer never made eye contact with me once. He never even looked at me. From the moment I came into his office, he went, come in, take a seat. He was looking at his computer screen the entire time. I've been holding that so tight, my hand hurts. The entire time he was looking at his computer screen and, you know, typing. And he started asking me questions without ever looking at me. Mm-hmm. And it's a psychological thing because they want to see how you deal with stress. So they treat you as inhumanly as possible to see if you'll break. Mm-hmm. And if you break, you don't get the job. You know, but they don't care because, well, there's 50 more people waiting in line. Mm-hmm. But he literally sat through the entire interview, you know, quietly going, well, describe this, describe that, you know, making me as uncomfortable as he could, and asking me weird questions, you know, describe what you would consider, you know, your greatest strength is not a weird question. Describe what you would consider your greatest weakness is not a weird question. How would you turn your greatest strength into your greatest weakness is a weird question.
That is a weird question.
How would you, you know, I mean, he did both sides. He reversed it, but it was like, why would I want to turn my greatest strength into a weakness? You know, if it's my greatest strength, don't I want to keep that as my greatest strength?
Right.
And I was working for a temp agency. I asked the person why I didn't get the job.
Right.
I wanted to know what it was I failed at and how I could improve. And she said that he decided not to hire me because I was too negative about myself. Mm. And the thing is I had done everything that I knew I could to try and be positive about myself.
Right.
Even the quote, what is your greatest weakness? You know, I said, my greatest weakness, probably my stubbornness. Mm. And he went, well, how would you turn that into a strength? And I went, well, you know, I do consider it a strength as well as my greatest weakness. Because there are times when other people will give up and I won't.
Right.
I mean, my whole life I've had people go, why don't you just give up and settle? Why don't you just give up and do this? Why don't you just give up and do that? I'm broke as fuck, but I haven't given up.
Right. And I do have to tell you, obviously we don't know each other very well, but the fact that you came down with Becca to do this big birthday thing, the fact that you came in here and you're talking so openly and honestly, I think you're doing great.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I'm sorry to break it to you.
No. The only way.
I think you're on your way.
The only way I can get better is to be honest.
Right.
And, you know, it's this bullshit worry about what everybody thinks about you.
Right.
You know, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about me.
Right.
Because truthfully, they couldn't think any worse than they already do. You know, what have I fucking got to lose?
Right. And when we focus on the connections that we do have, and I think it brings, because I think we got to start wrapping up because my parking's done. And you guys.
Sorry, yeah.
No, don't worry about it.
I apologize a lot. It's part of the anxiety disorder.
But I think when we focus, all we're really doing is connecting with each other and trying to love each other.
Yeah.
And take care of each other.
Yeah. It doesn't matter that I don't know you.
Right.
It doesn't matter that up until today we were virtually strangers. Mm-hmm. I like you. I think you're a hell of a guy.
Oh.
I appreciate what you do here. I respect you for your opinions. I respect you for the fact that you hold your opinions and you're still willing to listen to other people's viewpoints, whether you agree or not.
Sure.
Sorry, I don't have any front teeth, so I spit. Oh, I get judged for that a lot, too.
Yeah.
I was going to wear my partial, but I don't like it. I can't eat with it.
Right.
So, you know, and they make you go without it long enough that, you know, if I can't eat with it, why do I need it?
Right.
But beside the point, I get judged a lot for that, though, because I guess there's a drug use that makes you lose your front teeth.
Yeah, I think meth, probably.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, because I've never done it,
Right.
so I don't know what it is. But I get judged a lot that I'm a drug user or something.
Okay.
So that's the only time I'll actually wear the teeth, is if I really have to worry about dealing with people who make snap judgments, and it's like, oh fuck, whatever. I'll put the damn partial plate in. I lost my train of thought, though.
You were talking about how amazing I am.
Yeah. Yeah, actually I was. No, seriously. The fact that you hold your opinions and you provide this. You go out of your way to give people a platform to speak and be heard, regardless of how PC or un-PC it is. And you give people equal respect, whether you agree with them or not. That is a rare fucking thing in this world. To be open and honest and look yourself in the fucking mirror and be able to go, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I should listen to this person.
Right.
Or, no, that person's full of fucking shit.
Right.
And be honest about, no, I disagree with you, but I'm not going to try and say that you're less than me because I disagree. Right. If we could just reach out to each other as people, as human beings, as individuals, and try to get to know each other instead of being afraid of each other. And, trying to put people in these little boxes because we're scared to show them our vulnerabilities.
Right.
And we're afraid to see their vulnerabilities because it might make us open to each other.
Right. I think this is really the only option.
Yeah.
Because the other option is more fear, and we've done that.
Yeah. I mean, the
That
world,
didn't work
we're
out.
just repeating ourselves
Right.
through history. And people have this attitude. I'm sorry, I talk a lot when
That's
I get
okay.
going. People have this attitude that we can just keep doing this shit and survive. And I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people by saying this, but I don't give a shit about the movements to save the planet, because truthfully the planet will survive. Unless we do something to literally break it apart, the planet will survive. We might not.
Sure.
Fuck. The planet has been surviving for this whole time, and it'll just keep on doing what it does.
Right.
New species are arriving to replace the ones that we're killing.
Right.
I'm not saying that killing off all the species is a good thing.
Sure.
It's not.
No.
I'm not saying I'm for that.
Right.
But I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, meat is murder, stop wearing leather, everyone should be fucking vegans.
Right.
Because if we don't, the planet will, we'll destroy the planet. No. The only way we're going to destroy the planet is if we fucking destroy the planet. The planet will be there long after we're gone.
Right.
And it'll keep going as it does, because that's what nature does. Nature abhors a vacuum. New species will rise to replace the old, including us.
Right.
It's us that we're endangering. We're not endangering the world. We're endangering humanity.
Right.
We are proving that we are a dead-end fucking species.
Right.
Unless we can pull our heads out of our asses and stop treating each other like shit.
Right.
We're
so smart and so ingenuitous. You know what I'm saying?
Ingenuitive, yeah.
There you go. There is some sort of spark of humanity that differs us from other people. Let's use it for good.
Yeah.
And I think we're on the way. Listen, we're better. Let's be real. Fucking 300 years ago, they were torturing other people openly because they didn't believe in the right God. Although they kind of do that in the Middle East. But
it's that, yeah. In parts of the world, they do still do that.
But it's on a smaller scale. Number one,
it is.
We are growing, and our population is huge, so we're still trying to figure that out.
About that. Yeah,
but we're also, even 50
moderation
years ago,
in all things, people, especially fucking procreation.
and 50 years ago. 50 years ago, we were worse racially or with homosexuality. So we're getting better.
We're getting better.
But let's part of the way to get there is by having long form conversations like this.
Yes, exactly.
Part of the way to get there is to really peek behind the curtain of what you think you already see, and then see for see what you don't.
Exactly.
You know, and
exactly.
you know, and I think
Get to know your neighbor.
right.
Don't assume about your neighbor. Get to know them.
Right.
Talk to them. Treat them with open curiosity.
Right.
You don't have to treat somebody with respect
Right.
until you know they deserve respect.
Right.
Which I'm serious about. You know, so many people have this feeling of entitlement to respect. No, you want to be respected, do something to be respected for.
Right.
Don't just assume that people should give you respect, because that's not how it works.
Right.
You have to earn respect.
Right. But
but at the same time, you don't
open.
have to be a dick and put people down because you don't respect them.
Right. Or
You
because they might, or because they may look like someone who hurt you or beat you up in fucking high school.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, my most recent drop from employment is due to a new supervisor triggering me. I was actually working. I was at a job that I loved. I was happy.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the best supervisors I've ever had in my life retired.
Mm-hmm.
And he was replaced.
Mm-hmm.
And the new supervisor, I figured, hey, there'll be hiccups because, differences in supervisory situations.
Right.
And then I started having panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know why. And I started having panic attacks before work. I started having panic attacks at work.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day the new supervisor said something. And it wasn't what was said, it was how it was said, that it suddenly all clicked into place for me. Everything she did triggered me and reminded me of a past abuser who was a sociopath.
Right.
And I went, whoa, I think she might be a sociopath.
Right.
I witnessed things. I started watching and paying attention, and I realized all the times that I started panicking prior to going to work and at work was when she was around. I watched her take credit for anything that was done right at the job.
Right.
And the minute something was pointed out that wasn't correct, she immediately vocally started looking for people to blame. Who did this? Who changed what I did to, and it was all about her.
Right.
You look like you're about to pass out.
No. I'm just, I'm listening. I'm just thinking about the parking.
Sorry.
For a quick second.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But no, finish the story.
Yeah, but I started going downhill.
Right.
And there was another coworker I had who has anxiety issues like mine and is desperately trying to survive. She's very suicidal on a regular basis. And because the last time I had been unable to work, I was unable to work for 8 years because of experience with a sociopath who was my husband's abuser.
Right.
And I was worried about my friend and coworker, and I went to warn her. And I made the mistake of doing it at work. And I said, I went to her to talk to her. I made certain there were no customers around in the store that we were working in. And I went, hey, I think our new supervisor might be a sociopath. You might want to just be aware and keep an eye on how you act around her and what you say. And another coworker overheard, immediately came over to demand what we were talking about. And I knew I got that sinking feeling right then, and I went, hey, it's just something I've observed. Please don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And her statement was, if you have a problem with the supervisor, you should bring it to the supervisor. Which, truthfully, yeah, she was correct in that.
Right.
But she didn't know that I was operating on past experiences, and that I was really triggered.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it would have mattered to her if she had known, truthfully. But I told her, please don't say anything about this because I will be fired. And she didn't believe that I would be fired. And she was a new hiree to begin with and didn't know this new supervisor any more than, a lot of us did. So she headed off, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm fired. I know I'm fired. I'm going to be fired, But I still reiterated to my friend, be careful.
Right.
She doesn't have anything against you. Yeah, I'll probably be fired for this.
Right.
Yada, yada, yada.
So you told her, and then...
Yeah, I told her what I thought, and she was like, okay, I'll be aware, I'll watch, you know. I mean, she had to take medication daily throughout the day just to function.
Right.
Because she would have panic attacks.
Right.
And this was just trying to live.
Right.
It wasn't due to other things. You know, she's been denied disability too, because I think she's not disabled.
Right.
But nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I thought, okay, maybe she didn't tell her. Maybe she honored what I asked and didn't say anything. For a week, nothing happened. And this supervisor was extra nice to me. I mean, just solicitous almost.
Right. And then what happened?
And then I got to work one day, and she was all chipper and cheerful and went, oh, by the way, could you come to the back for a minute?
Right.
When you're done here checking in. And I went, oh, sure. I had no idea. I headed to the back, and there was a person from HR in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, okay, hey, what's going on? And they went, well, did you or did you not tell somebody that you felt something like this? And I immediately went, oh, son of a bitch, here it comes.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, okay, I do not feel comfortable speaking in front of her. I would like to, because this was an HR representative. They're supposed to be impartial.
Right.
Keyword supposed to be.
Right.
And she was okay with that. She was like, yeah, no problem, you know. And she sent my supervisor out, shut the door.
Right.
And she went, okay, now why did you say what you said? What happened? What led up to it? Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her everything that I have witnessed, everything that has been triggering me.
Right.
Including the fact that I witnessed this supervisor blatantly lying to a health and safety inspector.
Right. So eventually, you know,
I told her all the things that I
right.
felt supported my viewpoint that she might be
right.
a sociopath.
Right.
And this person, the HR representative, went, "Are you a doctor?" And I went, "Oh, hell no. I can't diagnose people. I just know that I and my husband were abused for over 15 years by a sociopath."
Right.
And she's triggering me the way he did.
Right.
And she went, "Oh, okay, you're just triggered. You're just triggered. Okay, well, maybe we can bring her back in and sort this out and just consider it a misunderstanding."
And then eventually what happened?
Well, the thing is she did bring her in, and this supervisor was like, "Oh, okay, no problem. It's just a misunderstanding." And then they wrote me up.
Right.
For the misunderstanding. And what they wrote me up was that I was gossiping about a coworker.
Right.
You know, which, truthfully, I am more than willing to admit I should not have said anything at work.
Right.
I shouldn't have. It was improper. I fucked up. I was willing to deal with that. But I was like, okay, well, they didn't fire me. Of course, I didn't put two and two together at the time. Mm-hmm. But the HR representative, when she was leaving, said something that made me realize I was royally fucked. Mm. She went, "Oh, you just need to get to know her like I do, and you'll know she's a good person."
Right.
And I realized they were friends.
Right.
And it's like, I just talked for a good 20 minutes about why I thought this person was a sociopath.
To a friend of hers. Right.
To a friend of hers.
Right.
And I knew that was it. I was fucked. I knew my life was going to go to hell.
Right.
Because
and since we probably have to wrap up.
Yeah, I know you mentioned that.
Eventually
I got written
fired?
up. No,
Oh, okay.
no, because that's not how she operates.
Okay.
I watched in the course of the year that she's been in charge, I watched old-time employees who'd been working for this company for years
Leave.
quit.
Right.
One after another.
Right.
New employees don't stay longer than a few months.
Right.
They don't. They just, there's issues with the supervisor and they leave. Right. But the thing is I watched this happen. But I got written up a second time, again, out of the blue, called into the office with another HR representative, no knowledge, no explanation of what I'd done wrong.
Right.
And it was, truthfully, it was for trumped up bullshit, because the meeting with the HR representative and her turned into a religious intervention.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I have my own religious beliefs.
Right.
They're mine.
Right.
They're not yours. They're not. You might have similar beliefs. You might not.
Right.
But I have mine.
Right.
And at one point, because they were talking about how my job was slipping, and my coworkers were complaining about me, and apparently customers in the store were supposedly complaining about me.
Right.
And I don't know if she was trying to be relatable or what, but my supervisor went, "Oh, I was once like you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was once like you. I was so low that I was even a drug addict. You know, worse than we had a special customer who was a regular who, if she goes off her meds, she gets really, really crazy."
Right.
And she was like, "I was worse than her."
Right.
And I went, "Okay, what's this got to do with you being like me?"
Right. So eventually.
Yeah. And then she went, "But I turned my life around by inviting Christ into that hole in my heart. And all you got to do is, all you have to do is invite Christ into that hole in your heart."
Right.
And I was insulted, one, because she assumed that I had no spirituality.
Right. Well, the wrong kind.
Yeah. And then she assumed that I had a hole in my heart
Right.
that was causing all of this.
Right.
And the HR representative, who was a different one, was so in her court, she literally went, "Yeah," pulled her sleeve up and showed off some sort of lion tattoo.
Right.
And went, yeah, all you got to do is, invite Christ into your heart. HR is not supposed to be, you're not supposed to talk about religion at work.
Right.
And this is an HR rep.
Well, Washington's a different kind of state, too.
That's Oregon.
Oh, okay. Well, still, yeah.
But,
you get far enough away from Portland. There's some.
But, and you're not, legally, you are not supposed to discuss religion in the workplace. Right.
So anyway, you're saying eventually you had to leave.
These people, I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
The assistant manager was there too, and I went, I've got my own religious views. My supervisor went, "Oh, that's good," and continued to go into this Christ thing. Right. The assistant manager tried to get her back on track repeatedly, and was ignored. Right. And I was so desperate by the end of this situation that I signed the write-up without dispute, because I just wanted to get the fuck out of the office. Right. I got written up a third time when I had a full-on emotional breakdown at work. Right. I literally got to the point where I couldn't function. Right. I was crying so hard that I couldn't see. Right. And it was during, trying to get ready for closing the shop, and the assistant manager was there. She'd already had her full shift, and I could not function. And I told her I couldn't function. Right. So she sent me to the back to do dishes, and I couldn't do dishes, the small amount of dishes that we had, in 45 minutes, because I was crying so hard I couldn't see. Right. And I could not stop. Right. Well, I got written up for wasting time. Right. And taken off the schedule for 2 weeks, and that's when I quit. Right. Because
so you've been in this new position, and we have to wrap. But
yeah.
Been in this. That's okay. You've been in this new position where you're going to try for disability and stuff. But I do have to tell you, I think, like Becca, has said, and like you have said, and I've had a great conversation with you. And I'm grateful that you're getting out of your shell.
Yeah. The problem
because the water, it is a little warm.
Yeah.
Or at least warmer than you think.
Yeah. But the problem is that I cannot function consistently. Right. There are days I can be just chipper, joyful, outgoing, and very, personable. Right. And then there are days I'm curled up in my bed with a blanket over my head going, I don't want to go outside.
Right. Well, luckily you have good people in your life.
Yeah.
Luckily Becca's there, and you can always come down to California. That's the only.
I hate California.
So do I. If this is the only way you want to come back and
that's why
and talk some
Becca
more, I'd
wanted
love
to do something special for my 50th birthday, because she only turned 50 once.
Yes, indeed.
And
that's awesome.
Originally, it was for another purpose that wound up getting canceled because the government is the government.
Sure.
But so.
Well, I'm glad you came down.
But I think I made the commitment with you to talk with you today as a way to force me to come down, because I don't like breaking commitments.
Yes, ma'am.
With Becca, she's my daughter.
Right.
She gets it. If I had no other reason to come here, I could have went, Becca, I can't do this.
Right.
Let's do something else for my birthday.
Right.
I can't handle it.
Right.
But because I had made a commitment,
Right.
I had to, because I couldn't do that to you.
Right.
You don't know me. You don't have that reason to be forgiving or,
Sure. Understand.
accommodating.
Yeah, right.
So it was like, okay, no matter what, I'm going to go. Even if I have to be on lorazepam the whole time.
Right.
And
we did it.
Yeah. And
this was really great. And
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for that you came down.
I don't know if I was really coherent much.
No,
I rambled all over the fucking place.
You're on the right goddamn podcast.
Yeah.
And you know how I get down.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm a real live human being. I'm broken. I'm frail as fuck. I'm as bad as anyone else, and I'm as good as anyone else.
Absolutely.
And the thing is we're all just fucking human beings. We all got to live on this planet.
Right.
And if you're a racist motherfucker or a misogynistic motherfucker who just wants to put people down, think about it. Once you get rid of all the people you don't like, who's going to be left?
Right.
Who else can you point at and go, I don't like you. Get the fuck off my planet.
Right.
Sooner or later, it's going to come down to you, and you're going to be the only one left.
Right.
And then what'll you do? Because there won't be anyone there to wash your car,
Right.
mow your lawn,
You'll be
cook
jerking
your
off
food,
all the time.
cook your food. There won't be anyone there.
Right.
And it's like, why treat people like shit when you rely on these people every fucking day?
Right. Well, right on.
So anyway,
I'm really
I'll
grateful
let you go.
that you came. Well, I'm really grateful that you came on. And you feel like it was good?
I feel exhausted. But, this is my daily life. I always feel exhausted.
Right. Well, hopefully.
But this was a good thing for me because it was, I cry at the drop of a hat. I shake. I stutter at times when it gets really bad.
Sure.
But only by facing it and working, and God's, I work hard at it, and working actively to try and get better. Am I ever going to get... I might not be fully functional and perfect and a contributing member of society, but I'm not going to give up until the day I die.
Right.
I don't care. I've given up before, and it didn't get me anywhere other than a suicide attempt that thankfully failed.
And you're contributing in this way. You understand that?
Yeah, I'm trying.
I'll say this.
I write a blog about my life.
Oh, awesome.
Exactly as it is.
Right.
It's if I can
please.
It's called Cupcake Gumbo,
Nice.
Impoverished Artist.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a blog about my life with anxiety disorder and clinical depression and PTSD.
Right.
And I'm as honest in it as I am with you right now. Because giving a fuck what anybody thinks about me doesn't help.
Right.
It doesn't show other people out there that it's okay to be broken.
Right.
It's okay to turn to others for help.
Right. And that's ultimately what the deal is that when we're going through shit, it is so that it can help other people eventually who go through the same shit.
Yeah. And
there's going to be someone down the line
all these people
that needed to
bitching
hear
about
you
the
talk
Me
like
Too
this.
movement
Right.
don't realize that the Me Too movement is there because so many people who have been hurt are finally finding out that they're not alone.
Right.
And they're getting the strength and the courage to come forward and go, yeah, me too.
Right.
And it's not that they're just trying to get attention. No, they're finally going, fuck, I'm not the only one.
Right. So there's going to be people who listen to your story today.
I hope so.
And
I hope there are people out there who listen to it and realize that, no, you are not the only one. Right. And you have the right to be treated as a human being. Right. It doesn't matter your race, your gender, your sex, your religion.
Right.
You are a fucking human being, and your life matters.
Right.
You are worthwhile. And I don't know you, but I love you. So fuck off anyone else who doesn't.
Goddamn right.
You've got at least one person in your corner who doesn't give a shit how dirty your house is, how much energy you've got, or the fact that you can't get the energy to get out of bed or take a shower every day because it's just the weight of the world is too heavy. I don't care. I love you anyway because you're worthwhile. You're a human being. And as long as I draw breath, I might not be able to go out every day, but I will support others who've gone through shit and who go through shit.
Right.
Even if I don't understand the shit you go through, because everybody's shit is different, you know?
Right.
We can't judge people by ourselves.
Right.
We can't go just because I made it through this, so can everybody else. Because, no, you don't know what their stressors are.
Right.
We're not all the same people, and that's a good thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I love you all.
And
have faith in yourself. Your life does fucking matter.
Awesome.
You are worthwhile. And don't listen to anybody who tries to tell you different. Nobody's better than you. Nobody's worse than you.
Right.
We're all human beings.
Right.
We all deserve love and respect and kindness.
And
so fucking get off your high horse and deal with it. Pull your head out of your ass, people.
And read Cupcake Gumbo.
Yeah.
You can support this.
And that's on Tumblr, by the way.
Oh, nice. And you can support this podcast at patreon.com/conservatish. You can share this with your friends and support and subscribe to the channel. What else? Yeah, that's it. I'm going to be promoting more shows soon. There's a big one coming up. Oh, you know what? I will tell you, by the way, if you like Puerto Rican salsa, go to, where is it? Well, you can find it anywhere, Apple Music, Spotify, whatever. My father's music, his band is called Latin Rhythm Boys, and they just came out with a big-ass album called Celebrando. Cool. Puerto Rican salsa, jibaro twist, which is a Puerto Rican guitar. It's legit. It's cool. Very, very good. He's spent a lot of time and energy on it, and he's got Grammy-winning artists on there, and yeah, it's legit. So look it up, Celebrando. Yeah, thank you again, Kat, for coming on.
Yeah, hey,
really appreciate it.
All I can do is the best I can do.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do.
Awesome. You're taking these cupcakes too.
Yep, no problem. I don't eat much. I've got a bit of an eating disorder.
Right.
I'm to the point where I eat maybe a meal a day unless I'm actively working at it. And I've already had breakfast, so it doesn't enter my mind to eat anything.
We'll keep them in the car then.
Yeah,
all right.
So, I've had my meal for the day, so I'm done.
Okay. Well, then maybe let Becca have a couple too.
Yeah, no, I'll take them with, and I appreciate the fact that you brought cupcakes in for my birthday.
Absolutely,
so
you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye.